G'day everyone, and ho ho ho! Welcome to the Christmas episode on the RiverStyx server. So, as you would have seen in the intro there, I've built... Well, so what you may not have seen is that Billy Bob and I actually transformed this entire area. This whole area here with all the snow was all was all stone and grass. Ignore that area down there. I'll explain that shortly in the episode. But I spent the quite a long time, actually, to be honest with you, building this giant Christmas tree. So as you enter the Christmas district, you will see this massive giant Christmas tree, and it sort of looks like a rocket on the end. I'm going to just trim a little bit off that tip. It's a little bit too pointy. But other than that, I think it looks really good. So we are going to decorate that in this episode. I also want to show you this. So this is the entrance to the Nether. We got this, looks like a Christmas present with a little bow on the top. I actually let my daughter pop on, and she built that for me. So that was actually really nice of her. I just thought I'd let her do something nice and Christmassy for me. Because, you know, Christmas is all about family. And then in the Nether here, we've got this. This is our little tunnel down here, just to let everyone know where to come. So they sort of come down all these different Nether tunnels. And this is, you know, you got a bit of a candy cane on the wall here. You got these little candy canes here that sort of show you where the entrance is. And yeah, and then this is meant to look like an ugly Christmas sweater that everyone loves. And then here, you can see the inside of the present, which we're going to pop out into. 1 second. Let's try that again. So then when you come through the portal, you're greeted by this giant Christmas tree, which I think turned out really good. I'm actually really happy with it. So obviously, still needs decorating and things like that. We used a bit of a gradient, so you notice the leaves change colors as we come down. Let me just land. But yeah, I think it looks really good. Gives it a little bit more depth to it and makes it look really nice. You can see I've put a little bit of sea lanterns on it. That was just like a little bit of a test just to see how they look. I'm quite happy with the sea lanterns as the light source. So we'll be continuing that. And then down the base here, we've got plenty of room here. So if anyone does want to leave like presents for anyone, they got heaps of room underneath the tree. So I think that's really good as well. And then Charon has come on and built this huge giant snowman, which looks fantastic. His little carrot nose and his little top hat. I absolutely love that. I love the top hat. It looks so cool. And then we've got a big Enderman over here. He's got a present. I don't know what's in it. We will maybe we'll open that on Christmas Day. Ooh. And I just realized there's a block missing. We'll fix that. Over here we've got a giant snowman. Oh, not snowman, sorry. Try that again. Penguin over here, which looks awesome. And this Christmas hat, I absolutely love the Christmas hat. I mentioned this on stream. In fact, all of this has been done on stream. So if you want to see me doing that sort of stuff, make sure you follow me on twitch.tv/AusCrafterSim. One thing I love about this Christmas hat here, though, is that no matter which angle you look at it on, it actually still looks good. And that's very rare. Like a Christmas hat, often it looks really good from one angle, but when you look at it from other angles, it just doesn't look like a Christmas hat anymore. And this one just seems to look like a Christmas hat no matter where you look at it from. So as we come through the portal here, you get this nice entrance here with a pathway down here. We've still got to build the path itself, but you can see all the different candy canes of different colors, which look absolutely fantastic and lead to a nice little path that goes straight to the Christmas tree. One thing I absolutely love down here is these giant candy canes at the end with tiny little stockings. Check out these little stockings. Aren't they cute? They're just like the best thing ever. And if you listen carefully, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And yes, it sounds very good. So this song is coming from some note blocks under the ground underneath here. And it sounds really great. Now, I believe some other people want to put some more of these around the place as we go. So different areas you'll go and you'll get different songs that were made from different people. Now, this whole area was pretty much all stone and grass with the exception of a little bit of this top bit here. Not even all of it. Some of the top bit there was snow, the rest of it was all grass and stone. So as you come through, this is all pretty much, we had about 200 snowmen helping us out on this. And let's just pop up here for a moment. So about 200 snowmen helped us sort of lay out a lot of this for a few hours. And then we had a bunch of snow layers. There was a snowman over here. He's not there anymore. He didn't make it. He got attacked. But we just basically used him to gather tons and tons and tons of snow layers, and we just basically finished off all the edges and everything in between that the snowman missed. Now this area in here, I know what you know what you're thinking. This hasn't been done. This is actually a bit of a mountain. You can see the beacon here. We've dug this out. this is what we're going to work on next. So we're going to leave decorating the Christmas tree for now, because I think we've already had one little time lapse of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get stuck into this. So what we're going to make here, you can see I've marked out quite a large area there with some spruce logs, and pretty much Billy Bob actually flattened that out for me, which was really fantastic of her. I still need to take about 4 layers out of the ground just for the redstone, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to build a giant maze for everyone to jump in and go through. It's going to be a bit of a Christmas themed maze, and throughout the maze there's going to be some chests, and that's where they're going to get their Christmas presents from me. So let's get stuck into that. I'm going to just get started by laying out a little bit of the foundation, laying out the pathway, if you will. So let's get rid of this beacon because it is going to be in the way. And I'll start laying out the pathway of the maze, and I'll be back once that's sorted. And I am back. All right, so what I've done is I've cleared out a bit more of this area. I mentioned before that I'd take out about 4 more layers. I did have to move the beacon over there. But basically, this is going to be a maze. As you can see, when I start walking around here, it sort of, it loops around, and there's dead ends, and there's other bits here that, like, sort of, if you look over there, it sort of just loops around by itself. Obviously, they won't be able to jump around like this, like I can here. But the way it's going to work is that they're going to have to be able to get through this maze, starting down that end there and finishing over this end here. And there'll be things like parts like this where they've got to sort of decide, do I go right or do I go left? And you don't know where it's going to end up if you do take those routes. And, it's going to be a bit complicated. But the trick is that even though, let's say they come to this point here, they can go either that way, that way, that way, or this way. But the trick is that some of these, and I'm not going to tell you which ones just yet, are going to have a barrel. And what's going to happen is when the game starts, or when you enter, it's going to put a bunch of items into that barrel. And the longer you take to complete the maze, the more of these items that'll drain out. And it'll drain out at a certain rate every few seconds. Roughly, basically, it's going to be every 10 seconds at this point. Items going to drain out. Now, I can adjust how many items drain out. I can also adjust how many items will end up inside the barrels. So some barrels, like ones down this end that are close to the exit over here, let's say hypothetically there's a barrel right here. This barrel might have, say, diamonds or something like that in it, but you might only have 8 diamonds, and it might drop out a diamond every, say, 10 seconds, or maybe every 20 seconds even. Whereas one closer to the start might have, say, 10 items, or 10. I don't know what I'm going to put in these yet. Maybe they get 10 coal or something like that. And then somewhere in the middle here, they might get 3 stacks of something. Like say over here, they might get 3 stacks of something in this barrel. But what will happen is every say 10 seconds, it drops out 10 items or 6 items or 8 items or something like that. So it's constantly draining as they go. So if they're not quick, then basically their Christmas present is going to get less and less and less as they go. Now, there's no risk of death in this or anything like this, but the beauty of it is that essentially when they enter there, these barrels will all be empty. And the second they enter there, the barrels fill up instantly, or almost instantly anyway. I'll show you that afterwards. And then when they exit over here, all the barrels get drained back to empty before the next game starts. And the beauty of that is that basically it means that when people join the game or come into the game, they're not going to get things left over from the previous player or anything like that. So what I'll do now is I will build up the floor that goes down here. The block we're actually walking on is going to be the floor. So essentially, we'll have walls here and here. And then there'll be a roof over the top of us here. And then the floor will go beneath this dirt. It's just basically, I figured that I'd make the pathway out of dirt and just sort of, and that way it gives me, I figured I'd make the pathway out of dirt, and that way I have a very clear idea of where every block needs to go along the way. Now, I am working off of something I've already created in a creative world, so I'm pretty much just rebuilding it here, so that way it all ends up coming together really well. But it's going to look fantastic when it's done. As you can see, it's a massive maze. It's going to take some time to go through. We're going to do some testing and make sure that basically people can get through it in time, still get plenty of gifts. And yeah, all right. So I'll get this done now. I've already started over here. You can see. So this is going to be the bottom wall. It's going to be a Christmas theme, so it's going to be colourful and bright, and it's going to have a bit of a gradient to it, so it starts off a bit dark, gets a bit lighter up there. But basically, it's just gonna be a big jumble of colours, just like Christmas. It's just lots of colours, lots of fun, lots of enjoyment. So yeah, I'll get these first couple of layers, or this first layer of walls done, and I'll get the floor done, and then we'll come back and I'll show it to you a bit more. Alright, and I've done that. I've actually gone a bit further than what I actually said in the previous clip. I was originally just going to do the floor in this bottom block. I ended up doing the floor, bottom block, top block, and the roof above as well. It's just going to have a glass ceiling. The idea is that they can get help from other people if they want to. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of blocks here, and I'll walk you through the maze in a moment, but basically, it looks like a big jumble of blocks, and it's a bit colourful, I guess you could say. Yeah, it's a bit colourful. Well, let's have a look. Alright, so this is what you're going to see from the inside of the maze. Now, I've put these torches here every now and again, not on every intersection, but just to sort of show people where it turns. There's a couple of areas, especially in these black, like where there's all black concrete. There's a few spots like here where it's a bit hard to sometimes notice that there's actually turns. And I just want people to understand where they can go to explore the entire maze. But as you can see, you've got the blocks above. Now the blocks actually match. So this is predominantly white. So that's white. This one's got grey, so that's grey. This one's brown, so it's got brown glass, and so on. So that way from the top, it actually looks exactly the same. And that's going to be important in a little while, and I'll show you why shortly. Now, as they come through, they're going to have to make choices, obviously. Just like any maze, you can turn left, you can go straight or whatever. And when you're coming through, every now and again, they're going to find areas that have these little barrels. Inside these barrels, there'll be a token. Now, originally, I was going to have the Christmas presents in here. Let's say that I was going to give them some fireworks rockets. Then, you know, it would start off with, say, 32 fireworks rockets. As time goes by, these will actually slowly start draining out, and they'll only have 30 rockets. And then a little bit later, they'll only have 28 rockets, and so on and so forth. So what I've decided to do this now is I'm actually going to have a token in there instead. I haven't made the tokens up yet, and I haven't done the redstone for this yet, so I can't show you that. But essentially what they're going to do is when they run through here, they're going to come through, they're going to collect tokens. Kind of like going to a local arcade place and going to play, say, you got your ticket machines, you know, where you play like your basketball or your claw machine, and it usually gives you some tickets, and you take those tickets to the vendor at the end, and you can, you know, if you've got 200 tickets, you can get something small. If you've got 2,000 tickets, you can get something much bigger. Those prizes have already been worked out, and they're basically sitting there. I'm just going to build a little hut at the end, and they'll be able to redeem their however many tickets they have for a Christmas present at the end. And it also means that they can run this maze as many times as they want, kind of like an arcade machine. You can go through it as many times as you want. You can build up your tickets, and you can redeem them all at the end. So starting from the beginning, they're going to run through, and they're going to have to basically run around, and they'll get very confused. Do you go that way, or do you go this way? And some of them are going to basically, you know, take them places that might turn them around in a circle. And some of them, you know, you don't really know where you're going. And the idea being that sometimes you have to make the decision to go just to get into a barrel, even though it might waste a bit of your time. And other times you're going to go and you're just going to hit a dead end, and it's going to waste your time. You get nothing for it. So you've got to make a bit of a decision. Do you want to go for this barrel here, even though it's going to waste more time, and it means that you may get less in the barrels up there, or do you want to go straight for those, and do you want to try and clear them all out? Now, as you can see, as you go around, there's all these different colors and themes as you're going around. There's reds and there's blacks and all that, depending on where you are in it. Some of them are really easy to find. Some of them are a bit more hidden, like that last one I showed you. And then when they get down towards the end here, they'll basically come out, and this is the end here. Now, as you can see, there's nothing there, but there's a big area here cleared out. So this is where they'll basically come in, or they'll come out of the maze itself, and they'll be in a room where they can redeem their prizes. And that's going to be a relatively simple setup. The redemption will be very similar to the way the Trick or Treat game decided which death was going to hurt you. But I'll explain that when we get around to it. Now, at the moment, you might be wondering, why is there this big giant dirt wall here, and is it going to stay? The answer to that is simply no. It's a big giant dirt wall, known as a spoiler wall. As you can see, we've done the Christmas tree. You would have seen that at the very start of the video, but while we were building this tree was built entirely on stream, and I didn't want to give away what was happening over there. So I built a dirt wall as a bit of a spoiler wall, so no matter what I was doing from here, or even if I flew back here to have a look around, people won't be able to see what's on the other side of that wall, and it'll keep you intrigued for when you watch the video. So that way, there's certain things you see in stream a bit early, and there's certain things that you don't see early at all. But if you do want to catch me on one of those streams, just go to twitch.tv/AusCrafterSim and hit the follow button, and you'll be notified every time that I log in. So this is the maze from the top. And as you can see, basically, if one person was in here, you can sort of walk around and you can follow them and you can go, oh, okay, yeah, oh, you can go this way or that way. Maybe you can look ahead and go, oh, go this way or go that way. Maybe you come around here and go, oh, there's a barrel, turn right, and things like that. And that's kind of the idea. So people can team up if they want, and they can go for the better prizes and all the rest of that. And that is entirely up to them. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. Now, down the bottom here, like I said, there's not really any of the redstone done, but what there is each of these barrels is connected up to a dropper, and this is simply just a little circle. So if I put an item in here, or if I chuck in, say, 3 rockets, this torch is locking that hopper. If I take that away, you'll notice that the hopper actually takes them out of the barrel. See, the barrel's empty now. They came out into the hopper, and then they ended up in this dropper here. Now, when I trigger the system, these rockets will shoot into that dropper, and then this dropper will shoot them into the barrel. All right, and because the torch will be turned on at that point, this will be locked, and essentially these would have gone up to there and then back into here, and you'll have that ready to go. So, which basically means that the whole thing self-resets. So once I get all the redstone in, which I'm going to work on shortly, when they start the game, these droppers will shoot the tokens into these barrels. And then this one here will flicker on and off every now and again. And every time it flickers off, one item will come out of this barrel and move into this dropper here. And then it's gone for good. They can't get to it ever again. And only what's in this barrel here is what they can take as a token. So let's say we start every barrel with 16 items. There's 10 barrels. They could potentially get 160 tokens from a single run from this if they're quick enough. But after a bit of time, they'll start draining. If they take too long, they'll get less and less. But they can always just go straight back in and run it again. Now, some of you super smart people may have already figured out why it is such a jumble of colors and blocks, and there's so many different blocks in there. There's literally over 100 different types of block in there. And that is simply because the whole thing is going to be a pixel art from the sky. So although it looks like a mess down there at the moment, when you look at it from the sky, it's going to make a picture. Now, I'm going to finish off the picture now. I'm going to finish off the pixel art. Let me know down in the comments if you were able to figure out what it was prior to me finishing it. And I reckon that there'll be a few of you working it out. It's not super hard to figure out if you look at it enough. If you look at the overall shape, you look at the overall colors, I think most of you will figure it out. But let's jump straight into a time lapse now and finish this off. See you in a minute. And we are done from the outside. Alright, so that is all complete. Now, I'll just quickly have a quick mention about the Christmas tree. So, at the start of the video, obviously the Christmas tree wasn't finished. I haven't shown you me finishing the Christmas tree. The whole Christmas tree entirely has been built on a live stream. And although there was a bit of a time lapse at the beginning, that's just me time lapsing the live streams. But as you can see, we've got some tinsel, we've got some baubles, and of course, you've got to have a star on top of every tree, otherwise it's just not complete. And then down the bottom here, we've got a bunch of presents. Now, basically anyone who was there during the stream, they got to pick the color of their wrapping, the color of the ribbon, and I pretty much just built them. They also got to choose if they had a tall one, or a long one, or a square one. And it all came together really well. Basically, everyone on stream got their own present, including Charon, who chose to go with the gold and redstone because, you know, he wanted it to be expensive. He even got a tiny little one in the back here. Isn't that cute? So yeah, and they've all got little bows on them. The bows do vary ever so slightly. You got some round ones. You got these little V-shaped ones, I guess you'd call it, almost like a Mickey Mouse here. Got these big double ones. But yeah, all these details, they really bring it together and make it look really good, I think. So that is the tree complete. Now, over here, we've got Santa Claus. We've got the Santa Claus maze. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you already figured that out, but let me know down in the comments how soon you figured out that it was Santa Claus that was made up the maze. Now, as you can see, we can still see through all the glass. From here now, it is completely flat from the top, so that makes it a bit easier for people who are helping and trying to guide people and saying, oh, go this way, we'll go that way. And, you know, they can sort of go, oh, I found a barrel, come over this way, and try and direct the other people. The other people won't really be able to see them, but, you know, they can go turn left, turn right, all that sort of stuff. Now, we still have to build the entrance, because at the moment, that's our entrance. It's pretty crummy. And this entrance needs to also have a pressure plate that's going to trigger the game to start. And then we've got the exit. Again, this needs a bit of work. Now, you may remember that I mentioned that once you come out here, they're going to have a little shop to basically claim their prizes. I've decided I'm going to do it underneath because I've actually still got quite a lot of area underneath. And as you can see, mostly here, underneath Santa's head, there's not really any maze. So that's the maze there. It sort of goes through his beard, but it doesn't really go any higher than that. So I'm thinking about maybe using this area here, but we'll see how we go. I still have to put all the redstone in. So once I get the redstone in, I really just need to make sure there's a way for me to get the redstone in and basically come out of here somehow. We'll probably drop straight down and then get over nice and clean and tidy. That could be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see how we go. If that doesn't work, we'll just build something outside. So now I'm going to get the redstone in that's going to basically start and finish the game. Then it also, the bits that are going to drain, so these will be the ones that drain, these will be the ones that start the game, and then when it finishes the game, it will also trigger the draining ones, but it'll just trigger it differently. Rather than it being a quick pulse, it'll hold the line open for a while to let it drain completely. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll see you in just a second. Alright, so the redstone's all done now. Basically, it's pretty simple, really. What we've got here is there's a pressure plate on top of this, grey concrete powder. And essentially what happens is when they walk over this, as they come through the entrance, it'll trigger this line, and that'll trigger both of these. Now, essentially what will happen, this yellow one, when it's triggered, I've got a pressure plate here to demonstrate it to you. When it's triggered from above, it will basically push out a piston, which will cause a block update for this clock. And then when it goes back in, it'll do the same thing again. That will put 16 items in every barrel, as you can see here. Now, what it also does, it triggers this green line, but what it will do is it'll actually take this redstone block and pull it back and start this etho hopper clock, which basically means roughly every 10 seconds, I think I did. No, it's every 12 seconds. Every 12 seconds, 30 items is 12 seconds. So every 12 seconds, it will suck an item out, and this piston will move either forward or backwards, which this observer will see, which will trigger this purple line or this magenta line. This magenta line will then flicker for a very split second, unlocking this hopper, which will then allow one item to be removed from the hopper, and then that will end up getting shot back into this bottom dropper, which will then cycle through on the next run. Now over here what we have is, as they come out of the maze, this is the exit, they're going to turn this corner, they're going to run over that pressure plate. I'll probably swap that out for maybe an acacia one or something, just so it's a bit more orange. They'll come out of there, this wall is going to be closed, and then they're going to drop down this hole here, which will then take them this way. You can see I've just for now I've just done some sort of green walls. I've still got to put a roof in, but apart from that, it's pretty much sort of done, and then I can build out to here. When they run over that pressure plate that was on the corner, it's actually on this block right here, it will trigger this line here, which, as you can see, I just triggered the sample one or the testing one, and it will hold this on for a while. Now, what you'll notice is if you look at these torches, they're all off right now, which basically means that the barrels have all just been drained into this bottom dropper. And that's simply how it works. So it does that. And the other thing it does as well is it also triggers this line, which basically spits the block back out, locking the piston, which basically turns off the clock, and it's all ready to go again. So the whole system is now reset, ready to go for the next round, which is fantastic, and it's pretty much instantaneous. It does take a little while for the barrels to fill, but I think that's okay because it sort of encourages them to waste time a little bit on the inside. And yeah, and the fact that it's self-resetting just basically means that once they finish, they run over the pressure plate on the end, this resets it, and they can just start again immediately. All it takes is the time it takes them to run out of this. And as you can see, if I'm running around and I'm running underneath, it's already finished. So if they were running around the outside or even flying over, by the time they get back to the start, this should have already reset, which is really good. Now, I have unfortunately run out of time to build for this next bit, as I really have to get this video out because it's now Boxing Day, so I've actually missed my Christmas deadline. But I'm going to get this video published. Once this is done, in the next episode, I will show you what I've built down here. Obviously, it's not built yet, but I'll chuck it in the next episode. I might chuck it towards the end of the next episode, just so you can see what was down here and we can see how it all goes. Now, I'm going to give the rest of the people in the RiverStyx server basically 10 days to come down here and collect as many presents as they can in that time. And I'll even show you what they've got, including some ancient debris, diamonds, elytras. There's some pretty incredible Christmas presents. But that is sadly, unfortunately, all I have time for today. But if you do like what you've seen here today, and you think that the video deserves a rating, please hit that like button. And if you're not already, please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one and Merry Christmas. Bye.